When you dare to go reverse, the world shifts around you. Have you ever wondered why we keep repeating the same mistakes? Even after promising to change? Why do we work harder, strive more, yet end up with the same results? Perhaps it's not because we lack ability, but because we've never dared to think in reverse. When the whole world rushes one way, only those who pause and look the other way truly see what's happening. Reverse thinking isn't rebellion, it's the art of seeing life from a different angle. Where truth, wisdom, and freedom begin. In this world, what seems contrary often turns out to be right. Success doesn't come from imitation, but from the courage to think differently and step beyond the crowd. Today, let's explore the power of reverse thinking, the perspective that could turn your entire life around. Globe. Gift. Don't just listen. Start with your own mindset. Hit subscribe and get your free gift. Ebook. Don't wait for chances. Create them. When the majority is wrong, the cost of collective blindness. There's an intriguing paradox in life. The majority isn't always right. In fact, sometimes, the crowd itself is the very reason we lose our way. We're born with an instinct to belong, afraid of being left out, of standing apart, of others' judgment. So, we follow the crowd, even when deep down we're unsure if that's the right path. Yet history proves this. Every great turning point began with someone who dared to go against the current. When the world believed Earth was the center, Copernicus thought otherwise. When everyone feared failure, Edison treated it as a ladder to success. The crowd often gets lost in illusions, believing whatever's repeated enough times, without ever stopping to ask, is it actually true? The cost of collective blindness is this: we lose the ability to think for ourselves. A society where everyone thinks the same is a society where no one truly thinks at all. Successful people don't oppose the crowd to show ego, they do it to preserve the voice of reason. They know that if you keep walking in others' footprints, you'll only stop where they stopped. So sometimes, the wisest thing you can do is pause, turn around, and ask, am I truly living, or merely repeating? Thinking in reverse to see the true essence. The world operates under layers of subtle disguise. What we see is rarely the truth, and what's true is often cleverly hidden. Reverse thinking is the ability to see through the surface of things, not stopping at what people say, but watching how they act. Don't trust the promises, trust the footprints they leave behind. When we think in reverse, we learn the art of reasonable doubt. We don't deny, but we constantly ask, what if this is wrong? What if my view is only half the picture? That very question opens awareness. For truth never fears doubt. Only falsehood trembles under the light of truth. Those who think in reverse see what others overlook. They realize that being busy isn't the same as being productive. Fame doesn't equal talent. And free often carries the highest cost. When you dare to weigh everything in life against doubt and observation, you'll see that most truths we believe are habits, not wisdom. And only when you have the courage to think in reverse with yourself can you truly see the essence, not just of the world, but of your own soul. The power of paradox. Lessons from those who dare to be different. Life is full of paradoxes. The more we fear failure, the more we fail. The harder we try to be loved, the more we lose ourselves. And the greatest paradox of all is this: those who dare to go against the flow often reach the destination first. Think of Steve Jobs, fired from the very company he created. Instead of blaming fate, he looked at the situation in reverse. Failure wasn't an ending, it was a liberation. That mindset allowed him to reinvent himself and come back stronger than ever. Or Elon Musk, mocked by the world for dreaming of sending humans to Mars. Yet that same reverse way of thinking birthed SpaceX, Tesla, and a new era of innovation. What they share isn't superhuman talent, it's the ability to see opportunity in adversity. When others see limits, they see potential. When others say, impossible, they ask, why not? Reverse thinking doesn't teach you to fight the world, it teaches you to read the world differently. Sometimes, just by turning your perspective 180 degrees, what seemed like a wall becomes a doorway. Those who live with paradox understand that truth doesn't lie at either extreme, but in the middle, the balance between reason and intuition, between action and surrender. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all is this: when we embrace contradictions, life becomes whole. Reverse thinking in action. Doing less but achieving more. We grow up believing that success comes from doing more, staying busy, and sacrificing endlessly. Yet the paradox is, the more we do, the further we drift from what truly matters. Reverse thinking in action doesn't mean laziness, it means pausing to ask what truly matters. Those who think in reverse don't start by asking, "What should I do?" They start with, "Is this worth doing?" A simple example. Some people work 10 hours a day yet remain poor in time and energy. Meanwhile, others work 6 hours and achieve more, because they know what to focus on. Ordinary people try to do everything, while those who think in reverse choose to eliminate 90% of what doesn't matter. They understand that human energy is finite. The more it's scattered, the weaker it becomes. Doing less but achieving more is the art of valuing quality over quantity. Stillness over noise. Like an archer, one arrow, one target. When you act with reverse thinking, you don't need more, you need clarity. Because sometimes, success doesn't come from adding new things, but from having the courage to let go of the old. True freedom begins when you dare to question everything. A philosopher once said, "Freedom is not doing whatever you want, but understanding why you want it." Modern people have endless choices. Yet paradoxically, the more choices we have, the less free we become, because we no longer know which desires are truly ours, and which are pressures from society. Reverse thinking helps us pause amid that flow, to ask questions that seem simple but few dare to face. Who am I really living for? Is this dream truly mine, or someone else's? When you begin to question, you stop being a puppet of circumstance. You become the director of your own stage. Each question unfolds a new layer of awareness. We stop being driven by the crowd, and begin to follow the quiet voice of our inner wisdom. True freedom doesn't belong to those who have the most, but to those who know enough, understand themselves, and live aligned with what they believe. And that is the ultimate destination of reverse thinking. Not to be better than others, but to return to yourself, free, wise, and awake. Gentle emotional transition to conclusion. When you reach that point, you'll realize, reverse thinking doesn't just change your life, it liberates your soul. When you think differently, destiny changes direction. Life doesn't change simply because we wish it to. It changes only when our way of thinking shifts. Every limit, every fear, every failure begins with outdated beliefs. When you dare to think differently, the world around you opens up, like a door that's been waiting, needing only your touch. Reverse thinking isn't about becoming someone greater, it's about returning to yourself, but wiser, clearer, freer. Remember, no one is born different. Those who stand out are simply the ones who choose to see life through a different lens. So if today you feel lost, don't rush to find a new path. Try changing the way you see the old one, because when you think differently, destiny changes too. Glowing Star subscribe, download your free ebook, The Power of Reverse Thinking, and share your reflections below. Remember, the wisest investment is the one you make in yourself. Light bulb.